going to share a little bit about what has been going on with the Village of Hope since last year when she was here. We had a team meeting yesterday, and I was just reminded again just how amazing our God is and what He does when somebody just steps out and says, God, what do you want me to do? Because all of what you're hearing right now is because Cindy said, God, what do you want me to do? And it's been incredible what He has done in 5 years? 5 years. And it was a reminder for me again that there isn't anything that God can't do through us as long as we're just willing. So just welcome Cindy. She's going to share a little bit with us today.
It's great to be with you here again. Kind of feeling like Praise Community is kind of family. You guys have done amazing, and I can't thank you enough for your support, your prayers. We would not be where we are without people like you who are committed to praying for us. Some of you may not have heard about Village of Hope, but in 2006, God gave me the most incredible opportunity and privilege in my life, and that was to be dropped into a war zone in northern Uganda. And where I was at, it was kind of scary and dangerous. What had been happening for over 26 years is a man named Joseph Kony. Many of you have seen Kony 2012. And he began murdering and killing and slaughtering families. And the worst part of all, he would have done with little children. And while I was there, I heard stories of little bitty kids telling me they put a machete in my hand and then they said, you kill this child or this child will kill you. And I couldn't not do something. God moved my heart to action. Sometimes our heart is stirred by the things that God shows us, but He doesn't want us just to be stirred. He wants to move our heart to action. And a year later, I quit my job and I got to be a part of God starting Village of Hope. And today, I bring you greetings from 197 of our beautiful children that no longer live in refugee camps and sleep on dirt floors. They no longer have to steal just to eat. They no longer are worried that someone will come in at night and rape them or abduct them or take them away and force them to do things. Instead, they live in homes. We have 8 homes now, today. We have a church, and they had church this morning, let me tell you. In Africa, they have church, and they had church this morning. And we have about 80 staff. You know, I thought about how God was going to affect the children, but I never really understood how much God was going to affect the community. You know, when you have 80 staff, that's another 80 families that you're supporting that are supporting their others because they've all been ravaged by this war. And Village of Hope is, you know, just the now what to what's happening, and we've just seen God do some crazy things. But you know where that started here with your church? It started with this crazy gal that emailed me one time and said, hey, are you the Village of Hope from Mocha Club? Because, you know, I want to come. And I'm like, no, I'm not that Village of Hope, but if you want to come, you know, I'm sure, you know, we'd love to have you if they don't want you. Well, the next thing I know, she comes in 2009, and she got ruined. And she's still ruined, all right? Would you agree with me? And I'm just blessed that she's my friend, but also she loves our kids. And I see in her heart how she's brought Pennsylvania on the Village of Hope map. And that's why I get to come to your lovely state once a year and visit and see the Amish people that we got behind this morning as we were driving. It was a lot of fun. And smell your beautiful air this time of year. I note to Janet, we're not coming in May next year. All the nice poop. But anyway, sorry, that was a sideline. But anyway, it was because God moved Tanya's heart to action. She came back from Uganda and said, I need to do something. I need to tell people. She told the people around her, and she told her church, and her church said, well, we're moved to action, and that's what you guys are doing. I wanted to share one story of one of our kids. His name is Lawrence. And when Lawrence was 6 years old, the rebels abducted him. They brutally beat his father and killed him. And they didn't only just abduct Lawrence, but they abducted his 6-year-old twin sister, Jacinta. And they abducted his mother. And for the next 2 years, Lawrence and Jacinta watched as the rebels brutally tortured and raped his mom until she finally died of HIV. They finally escaped and they went home, but there was no home to go to because their home had been burned down. The parents had been killed and there was nobody left. And finally, we found out about them, Village of Hope. We began to give them a little bit of food so they wouldn't have to steal. And now, Lawrence, for the last 2 years, has been living at the village with us. And Lawrence loves to read. He speaks English really well. He loves to play soccer, and oh my goodness, he loves to dance. In Uganda, everything starts and ends with dancing. And he is one of our best dancers. And actually, outside, Lawrence is one of the ones that made those crosses. The big crosses made out of beads that the children make. And he's really good at it, isn't that right, Jenny? Yeah, he's really good at it. There's only 4 boys that are really good at that, and that's one of them. But you know, that would not have happened if it hadn't been for this single mom in Texas named Deidre. Deidre decided to sponsor Lawrence, and that allowed him to move to the village and have his life changed. But not only did his life change, but hers changed. They began to correspond. Now, they've never met face to face. They've seen pictures of one another, and they write letters to each other. And she's never shared what was going on in her home, where she was really afraid at night. And her husband was very, 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 very abusive for many, many, many years. But he kept sending her letters saying, "I'm praying for your safety and your protection." And she told me later on, she said, "Lawrence, a little 12-year-old boy in Uganda, gave me the courage to step out of a scary marriage because I was too afraid that my husband would do something. But I'm not afraid anymore." God moved Deidre's heart to action. And out of that, God used Lawrence to change even Deidre. What is God asking you today? Is He moving your heart to action? Is it something that He's asking you to do? Whether it's for Village of Hope, whether it's for the church, whether it's your job, God has something that He is laying on your heart. And He's asking you, will you act? Will you listen to my voice? Will you follow me, even though it's scary as all get out, and join His adventure? We'd love you to move to action and sponsor one of our kids and be involved in their life. And maybe one day come with Tanya on one of her expeditions to Uganda. We'd love to have you. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you have done for our children. Thank you very much.